welcome to Life Coaching on the Move. I'm your host, Dawn Fiske, life coach, trainer, podcaster, YouTube, all sorts of things, guest speaker, and so on. I am delighted that you found this podcast today, or if you're a returning listener, welcome back. Thank you for your loyalty. For those of you who are new, this is me. It's authentic. It's not script written. I just chat about all sorts of subjects like resilience, overcoming fear, overcoming anxiety, overcoming social phobias and shyness, having confidence, achieving goals, your mindset, stop sabotaging yourself, stop holding yourself back. All of those topics. There are over 72 past episodes if you would like to go back and listen to them. If you are new and you do want to listen to some previous episodes, I urge you, rather than going backwards from today's episode to last week's and the next week, etc., then instead start at the first one. Episode 1 to 10, give the good foundation of my whole coaching really, and everything else falls out of those first 10 episodes. So they're the best place to start. Couple of admin bits. This week is really exciting. We've got another guest. I have got Kaye Osborne, who is an old friend of mine, old colleague of mine, and who is currently, when we first met, was a nurse, and it has left nursing to study and set up her own nutrition business, and she is absolutely thriving. She is doing so well at the moment, so much so in fact that just this weekend she announced that she has been described in the True Health magazine as UK's leading weight loss expert in this month's edition. So congratulations to Kaye on that. She has a lot of wise words in this episode. She's got a lovely energy. She's so enthusiastic. I love talking to her. She's a great person, but she's also very, very knowledgeable, particularly in the area of diabetes. That's where I first met her when we were working together. Now, this episode is going to cover how and why she got where she is. So I hope it inspires you, and it was also packed with tips on our own nutrition. She gives some great advice on how we can use nutrition to boost our immune system, which right now, just as we enter the winter, the flu season, the coughs and cold system time or season in any year, but particularly this year with COVID still going around and us being on the tipping point and possible lockdowns, etc., throughout the whole of the UK. We're trying our best to sort of firefight it, and anything any of us can do to stay well and stay strong, I think is a great thing. So that you will learn loads from Kaye today. Couple of bits of admin before we start though. Just to say, I have got a couple more of my workshop programs starting in the next couple of weeks. I've got the 7-week confidence and life skills program starting from Tuesday the 3rd of November for 7 weeks in the evenings. And on Thursday the 5th of November, I'm starting again the 3-week stress program on Thursday evenings. If you want to have any further details, they're on the website. I also urge you to look at Milestone Coaching and Training Facebook page, where you can join my confidence group, or you can follow me on Facebook at Milestone Coaching and Training is the Facebook link. However, all in all, if you want to contact me in any way to look at the workshops, to look at the online programs that I've got, an advanced stress management course and a time management course online that you can download and own, or the workshops, or in fact I'm soon in the next week or so about to launch the sales of gift vouchers, reduced price gift vouchers that you can buy for a loved one for Christmas. This Christmas shopping is going to be so different this year. The gifts are going to be so different because we are restricted on what we can do activity wise, but Zoom coaching can be life changing. Your loved ones or you can ask for coaching as a gift, perhaps from somebody. You can have coaching with me one-to-one via Zoom when suits you best to cover subjects that suit you best. You're in the driving seat. We can cover any issues that you're struggling with. 1 session, 2, 3, whatever you need. But there will be vouchers on sale at a slightly reduced price very, very soon. They will be through the website. So all in all you need to know is my website address, which is, if you've got a pen, www.milestone-coaching.co.uk. You can contact me through there. You can find out all the things on offer. You can sign up for the free blog. You can find more of the podcast episodes, etc. So I'm going to stop rambling, and I'm now going to introduce you to the lovely Kaye Osborne, where you can get so much really useful information from her. I hope you enjoy it. Hi, Kaye, can you hear me?
I can, Dawn. Thank you so much. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has been a while, and what people won't realise is how many attempts we've had at this. It's been a nightmare, but we got there in the end. So thank you for your patience.
We did.
Now, Kaye, we go back a little way, don't we? We used to work together in a health spa. You were the nurse there and I was the coach. So tell us, we're not working together now, and why is that? Where did you go from there?
So I was a registered nurse working, I'd worked in primary healthcare for a long time, but was slightly despondent with the fact that actually everyone was getting more and more ill. So became more interested in nutrition and lifestyle medicine, and got the job at the health spa as a senior health consultant. And it was there that I really got to grips with nutrition and how important nutrition is for your health.
Yeah.
So I went back to uni and I studied to become a nutritional therapist. And I left the spa, I would say about 2.5 years ago now, and set up Osborne Nutrition, and haven't really looked back.
That is amazing. I like that. We're already talking about success.
Oh.
But what a risky thing to do, though. A lot of people know that I love those that are prepared to take a risk, even though it's scary. Because what I'm hearing you say there, Kaye, is that you were in a very secure career, very established. You knew what you were doing. You've been there a long time. You were thriving. And you decided to take that plunge. How scary was that? Or was it not scary?
Do you know what? It was I just felt that I could do a better job with this additional education. And I just really felt that I had lots of skills to offer, but I needed the qualification. And I just felt so passionate about the fact that diseases stem from our lifestyle, or most diseases stem from our lifestyle. And I really wanted to help people stay healthy rather than, as a nurse, I spent most of the time keeping people from becoming more ill, if you see what I mean. So nutrition just seems so important, and such a, I think we got it so badly wrong in this country. And we've got the highest obesity rate in Europe.
Really?
We're not so far behind America with our weight problems. So I just got really interested in nutrition. So for me, it was risky. It was a huge financial investment and a huge time investment. And I was away from home a lot because I was doing a course that was actually in person. So I was driving back and forth to Worcester every month for a week every month. And that went on for a long time, and lots of assignments. But I just felt really passionate. I was really interested about the subject, and I really wanted to help people.
Fantastic. Can I ask a really rude question, Kaye? How old are you? Is that really rude, or roughly? Give me a rough idea. I'll tell you why, though, before you don't have to answer. I'll tell you why. Because lots of my clients say to me, either when they phone up and make the initial inquiry or when we're working together, and a lot of them will say, yeah, but my age, at this time of life, or am I too old to be taking such a risk, or am I too old to be changing career direction? I get all of that a lot, and I passionately believe, no, you're never too old. Right. What would you say about that?
Yeah, well, I am 55, so I changed career when I was 51. But really, it's not so much changing career. It was I've had my entire career, my sort of 35 years of work building up for this moment. So
Oh
it's not
yeah,
like I am changing career. I just was creating the sort of the cherry on top of the cake, really.
that's a lovely way of looking at it.
So, so I think I don't think it's ever too late. I think we don't know what the future holds, and I think COVID has brought that to the light. And I think we don't know what the future holds. The idea of retiring at 60 or 65 probably is not going to happen for most people nowadays, particularly now. And actually, it's so important to keep your brain stimulated and to keep yourself interested in things and being interesting as a person. And I just love the fact that it's just great to learn. I was certainly not the oldest at university, but I was very close to being the oldest at university. So there was 2 or 3 or 4 of us in our 50s, and that was really lovely. But it was also really really lovely hanging out with the 40-year-olds and the 30-year-olds. And all the people on the programme it was a postgrad, so we'd all done 1 degree previously, but they were mostly people changing careers. And
Really?
It was just, fitting in with their new lives. New mums don't want to go back to the corporate world. People just who gone from sort of allied professions and really interested in nutrition, or see nutrition. I was one person who's a personal trainer, but actually, by doing the masters in nutrition, he's now working for Premier League football teams. So he's now. So it's adding to your experience and knowledge just gives you more options in life. It's the sort of thing we tell our children, but actually we should be telling ourselves that as well.
That's so true. That's so true. What about, you were saying there about COVID, you mentioned COVID, and another thing that I'm finding, and I don't know about you here, is that a lot of people are now feeling very vulnerable career-wise. Many people have lost their jobs or they're furloughed, and they don't know what's going to happen to their job in the future. And none of us know what's going to happen to the economy. So they're holding back and they're very, very cautious and perhaps frightened. And yet you're thriving through this time.
I am thriving. I do feel a little bit bad saying that, really, but I think what I feel bad saying that because I know that's not the case for everyone. So I'm really sensitive about how other people are feeling. But what I would say, and what I always say to my clients, is that health, whether that's the health of a person or the health of your business or the health of your finances or the health of whatever, it's all about your ability to adapt. And if you don't adapt, that's when it all goes wrong. So with regard to my business, it was really new. It wasn't particularly well established, but at lockdown, I just thought, golly, I need to change from seeing clients one-to-one, and I need to get online, and I need to get online quick. And I did. I started doing free talks. So I gave a lot away. And that's okay. I don't mind doing that. I think it's a good thing to do. Because sometimes what you give is what you get as well. So I think the ability to adapt to the new environment, and whether that's a marriage breakup and that you're now single, or whether it's the fact that we've got COVID and our work has changed, whether it's the fact that whatever it is, we need to adapt. And so that's a real classic definition of health. But I transpose that onto the health of a business as well.
I love that. I've talked about that in previous episodes, actually, that those animals that thrive and survive are those that have adapted to their environment. I absolutely passionately believe that, but I've never brought that under the umbrella of health. I love that. You're so true. The health of your finances, or the health of your marriage, or there's so much more under health than I did ever considered. That I really like that, actually. So talking of health and talking of COVID, where does nutrition, how can nutrition fit into that and help?
Yeah, so there's two branches really. I think everyone, the main branch, or the branch that everyone focuses on is, I've got to improve my immunity. I've got to improve my immunity by taking supplements. You know, vitamin, we all hear it. You know, vitamin D, yes, I totally agree with, because that is something that you get through sunlight, and in the winter we don't often get sufficient vitamin D. But people talk about vitamin C, zinc, selenium, all these sort of micronutrients that help boost your immunity.
Yeah.
But I like taking a step back from that and look at the root cause of who are those people that end up on the ventilator? Because really, those are the people that really need to address their health and their nutrition. So the people who end up on the ventilator are the older and people from ethnic groups. That's, you know, those are things that we can't change those things. You know, we can't change our age, we can't change our ethnic origin.
Yes.
The other people that end up on ventilators and very poorly are the obese, the type 2 diabetics, the ones that are metabolically unwell, so the unfit, the ones with insulin resistance and inflammation. And that is something that I have been working a lot with, because those are sort of people actually, you know, with support and guidance and knowledge, and, you know, how I describe it, I give my clients the toolkit that actually they've got the tools now to make the right decisions. And giving people the toolkit and the education to help them lose weight. You know, once people start losing weight, their diabetes, you know, how, you know, because I'll teach them how to lose weight properly, their diabetes will be better controlled, their blood pressure will start dropping, their lipid profile will become more healthy. And these are all the risk factors for poor COVID outcomes.
Yeah.
So so basically it's a sort of two sort of edged approach really. It's the boosting your immunity with regard to nutrition, but also preventing yourself from getting poorly should you get COVID.
Right. Okay. Because actually, when we worked together, you brought me in specifically to the spa, actually, because you were running a diabetes program, weren't you? Specifically for, you were kind of the diabetes specialist then, weren't you, when we first
That's
met?
right.
And that was all about, was it about prevention? Was it about cure? What is your ethos with diabetes?
Yeah, so interestingly, you know, when I started training back in the 80s, diabetes was an irreversible condition, and you end up on insulin with your legs amputated. And type 2 diabetes doesn't have to be that now. We now know that you can reverse diabetes. You can put diabetes into remission with the right nutrition. So diabetes is exclusively a lifestyle disease. And it's, I think it's something along the lines of, and don't quote me on this, Dawn, but something along the lines of 10% of the population are now type 2 diabetic. I mean, it's huge.
Wow.
And it's exclusively down to your lifestyle. There is a genetic predisposition. So some people are more predisposed, more likely to have it because of their genes, but you know, a classic way of describing it is that your genes, your genetics load the gun, but it's your lifestyle that pulls the trigger. So I had a chap come in 2 or 3 months ago, and he's probably not the type of person that would ordinarily have come to see a nutritional therapist. And he was an HGV driver, a self-employed HGV driver, and he lost his eyesight. So he went to, Okay, so he went to the doctors, and the doctor said, your type 2 diabetes, and you've lost your eyesight because of your diabetes. And he'd clearly been diabetic without any symptoms for years. So he had lost not only his eyesight, he'd lost his HGV license. He had no money coming in. He'd lost his self-respect, self-esteem. He basically crumbled under this diagnosis, and was in a situation where he was, you know, he didn't have any insurances, nothing to support him. So we sorted him out. We got him on the right diet. He was the most amazing chap. He was so, obviously, he was highly motivated. And, I always say, what's your why? Why are you here? What do you want? What's your goal? His goal was to get back and earn some cash. That was his goal. And we did it. And, he got his eyesight back. And actually, I got an email from his wife a couple of days ago just saying, listen, his doctor cannot believe it. He's not only, they put him on lots of medication. He's over the last 3 or 4 months, he's come off all the medication. And his last blood test, which is called an HbA1c, which is your diabetic check, showed no signs of diabetes, not even pre-diabetes. So it's the lowest his blood sugar's been ever.
Wow, what a result.
Yeah. And that is, that's, so diabetes is something I'm really passionate about. And, you don't, and actually I said to the wife, if we hadn't have met, he would have been on medication. As an HGV driver, he'd have had to stop his truck every 2 hours to have had his blood sugars checked. He would have been back and forth to the doctors. He would have been so much higher risk of ending up in hospital with COVID if he was to catch COVID. Yeah. His outcomes, his life expectancy and his quality of life and all those important things would have been very different. So I just think I've got the best job in the world.
Oh, I was going to say, you must love your job because you must be able to see such measurable outcomes.
Exactly.
Such life-changing outcomes. Because is this true? I'm sure I've read this a lot, heard this a lot, but it's not just diabetes that nutrition is so effective over or involved with. It's other illnesses as well. I know heart disease, of course, and blood pressure, but is it cancer and Alzheimer's and things?
That's right. Yes, you're absolutely right. So definitely can improve, prevent and improve, so it's not going to necessarily cure your cancer, but if you've got a family history, reducing your risk with nutrition. And nutrition, if you think about it logically, your cells need to be fed with something. If you're feeding your cells with the right food, you're going to start feeling better. Yes. So so definitely, we're probably all going around with too much sugar in our blood. So we have raised insulin, and this is a massive problem for most diseases. So most chronic diseases seem to be due to two things: chronic inflammation and raised insulin in the blood. And if we can manage those and reduce those, then we can really start improving your quality of life and your health outcomes and your risk of disease. So the other thing that we do a lot of is gut health. So people with irritable bowel, IBS symptoms, reflux symptoms, constipation. So anything sort of gut health is something that we focus on as nutritional therapists. And also things like allergies and autoimmune conditions can be really improved with nutrition.
Really? You see, and also I'm going slightly off at a tangent here, and very selfishly.
That's interesting. Yes.
Very selfishly, I'm thinking of my son right now, because what my son is stick thin. He's very active, very sporty, stick thin, but if given the chance, will eat rubbish all day, because he believes, well, I'm all right, Mum, I haven't got any weight, and he'll eat, if he can, he'll eat 4 or 5 bags of crisps a day, biscuits, etc. And he's currently off sick at the moment because he's got a real bad stomach ache. He's been on 3 different antibiotic courses lately because of surgery, and the doctor said to him, you've lost your gut flora because of all the antibiotics. Your stomach's now very sore, and you're eating crisps and rubbish and the odd Dominoes or takeaways, and you need to eat well and get your gut flora. So how selfishly, how can we improve our gut flora or our gut health then? What would you recommend to anybody for their well-being, even when they're stick thin? We've still got to take care, haven't we?
Absolutely. So you're absolutely right. There's something that we call toffees, thin on the outside for fat on the inside. So they look thin, or they, like your son. And I'm not saying but when I say fat on the inside, it means that they're getting this accumulation of inflammatory fat on the inside that doesn't show on the outside. So these people are, he's basically laying the foundations for a really problematic future health-wise.
Exactly
And
what the
he's not
doctor said.
alone. Yeah, he's not alone. I mean, most kids, kids are resilient because they're healthy and they've got youth on their side. You carry on. How old's your son now, Dawn?
He's 18, and you're saying word
18.
for word what the GP said. That's incredible that he
Yeah.
can get away with it at the moment, but not for the future.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's laying down poor foundations.
Right.
With regard to your gut, you get the gut you deserve. So if you're eating junk, you're going to get the bacteria that likes eating junk. If you eat good food, you're going to get the bacteria that likes eating good food. And that bacteria will be beneficial bacteria. So your son, I always say to everyone, government guidelines is 30 grams of fiber a day. The more fiber you can get into your son, the better.
Such as, what would that be?
Well, fruit, veg are probably the best things. Allium vegetables, which are your onions and garlic, are really good for gut health.
Okay.
As are cruciferous vegetables, which is your broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, sprouts, all those sorts of things. Just get him to stop eating processed food. So processed food is anything with, ultra processed food is the bad stuff. Anything with 5 or more ingredients needs to be got rid of. So basically all his diet. By the sound of it.
You're not that wrong, actually.
Well, it's all the stuff that kids love. It's addictive, and it's been designed, it's been manufactured to be addictive. So they create something called the bliss point, and it's a combination of refined carbohydrates, which is sugar and flours, and they mix it with fats, which is, and the inflammatory fats. They use cheap fats, and that mixture of refined carbohydrates and inflammatory fats creates something called a bliss point, which makes you eat more and makes you become addictive. You get this dopamine hit, you get this cycle. You'll know more about this than me, Dawn, about this, the dopamine, the sort of cycle of addiction. And it's the same addiction as you would get from cocaine or cigarettes or alcohol. You get that high.
That feel good high,
Yeah, and then of course he feels rubbish because he comes down from this blood sugar drop, and then he craves more rubbish. So it's stabilizing his blood sugar is something you need to focus on, and I would say probiotics after antibiotics would be a good idea.
Okay,
so that probiotics he probably needs. So some bacteria put in there, but also there's no point just putting bacteria in there and letting him carry on eating poor quality food. So fiber for
all of us.
Everyone. Yeah, we're not having enough fiber, without a doubt. Yeah.
Okay, and so for all people listening, what then can we all do with? We have got the uncertain facing us, haven't we? We've got the winter months with COVID, with flus. We don't know what's happening. We're all feeling very vulnerable and unsure and frightened. I think a lot of my clients are feeling frightened at the moment about their health and what's going to happen. What can any of us be doing right now to look after our weight if we're overweight, and our immune system, just to give us that strength in a healthy way via nutrition? What should we be definitely having?
So I would say first of all, I did lifestyle. So I've studied lifestyle medicine and nutrition, and I look at the 4 pillars of health. And the 4 pillars of health are nutrition, sleep, movement, and stress. So all these things are really important to address. Get into a nice rhythm with your sleep. Get out in the morning, have a walk, get the sunlight onto your face in the morning. Think about your stress levels and think about what you can do to manage stress. With regard to nutrition, I would say keep to a low sugar or no sugar, unprocessed food. So ultra processed food it's the work of the devil. So try and eat real food. And make sure each plate has fiber, protein, and healthy fats. And if you do that, you can't go too far wrong.
So do you recommend not getting your traditional cereal, your box of Kellogg's something or other, or something, you wouldn't recommend off the shelf cereal for a start for breakfast then? Is that what you're saying? Would it be eggs? What would you say for breakfast?
Definitely not cereals for breakfast.
Okay.
In fact, there's infographics showing you how many teaspoons of sugar there is even in healthy breakfasts.
Wow.
So I would avoid that at all costs. Think about what grannies used to have. It'd be egg and bacon. You want to make sure you have a high protein breakfast. That's going to keep your blood sugars nice and stable throughout the day. Plenty of fiber. So an omelette with some vegetables in would be great. You could have avocado and poached egg on sourdough bread. That would be fine. So that type of thing. It depends. It really depends. I mean, there's no one diet fits all, without a doubt. But slow releasing fibers such as porridge is probably quite good if you're not looking to lose weight. But if you are looking to lose weight, I'd probably recommend that you don't have porridge. But for your son, for example, Dawn, that would be probably a reasonably good breakfast for him, and sprinkle some nuts and seeds on the top.
Right. Okay.
Because it's going to have lots of fiber in there. So nuts and seeds to add more protein and healthy fats. And full fat, don't go for skimmed or semi-skimmed, go for full fat on everything, and keep away from the processed foods. These are the ones that really drive illness and ill health and obesity and inflammation.
Yeah. So back to basics, back to natural. Do it yourself, cook it yourself, put it together.
Keep it simple.
Right. Okay. Well, that's really worth knowing. If all of us did that and had more fruit, veg, salady things and stuff like that, then it would certainly help. You are so like me, believing that you should get out if you can for a walk or a bit of a jog or a bit of a cycle ride or something in the morning. Get the sun on your face, get the air into your lungs. I'm always banging on about that. My listeners will confirm. For the vitamin D, for everything to help your sleep, to do the lot. I strongly agree with you about sleep and stress too. So we're definitely coming at this from the right direction, both of us. But we could all, knowing that the UK has got such a high obesity level, we need to do something about this. So what I love about watching you, and I've been inspired through you said that you got really busy and you adapted through the lockdown. That is so true, because I suddenly saw you all over Facebook. You've got nutrition Facebook group and various Facebook groups, and I saw you all over the place and you were so active. Tell everybody about that. Where can people find you, and what can they be looking for? What services do you offer?
Oh, thank you, Dawn. I've got a website, Osborne Nutrition with a hyphen in the middle, .co.uk.
Has Osborne got an E on the end? How do you spell that?
It's OSBORNE, and then it's got the hyphen, or the little line. Is that a hyphen? Nutrition, .co.uk. Okay. I've got a Facebook page, and it's at Kaye Osborne Nutritionist, KAYE OSBORNE Nutrition and that's a Facebook page.
And anyone can join that, can they? Can anyone get involved? Because you put some great posts up there. You put some really useful posts up there about various different food types and recipes I've seen up there. I love it. You're so active.
Yeah, well, that's a separate one. That's called Osborne Nutrition House, and that's really for my members. So I run 6-week weight loss programs, and all the people that are on my weight loss programs go into that private membership space on Facebook.
Right.
And because that's where they share all the recipes, and I give a lot, because part of that is the support that I give them. So lots of support, lots of advice. So that's really my kind of members area. But I also have a page called Osborne Nutrition, and it's there's 2 Osborne Nutrition's page. One is me, and one's some beef man in America who's he's oiled up, he wears a G-string and he's kind of shaved all his body hair off. He's really weird looking. That's not me. That's another Osborne Nutrition.
Okay, you may just have lost half the listeners. They may be now off Googling that guy.
So yeah, that's not me, sadly. So yeah, so I'm the other one. I'm the kind of green color. I have a Facebook page, and I do a lot of 6-week online programs, and they're little group programs. But I also see people privately on one-to-ones, and I do most of it on Zoom now. But if people want to come face to face, we've got space, and we've got all the, we're COVID secure, so we've got everything in place for face-to-face consultations as well.
Fantastic.
So both are fine actually. And I was a bit, oh dear, I'm not going to get on with this Zoom. I like seeing people, and I like touching people.
I know you do.
But it's funny actually how quickly you adapt, and you do build up relationships with people online, and it's just the new normal, isn't it? And I know that's a real cliche, but it is, and I think you have to accept it for what it is and move on.
Don't fight it. And this is what I say: what we resist persists. Go with it. What I'd also think is so good about that with your 6-week program via Zoom in a group, I suspect, because another thing that I do really, really feel is that we are sociable animals. We need each other. We need support. We need to get in touch with people and have contact. And I know from different research that I've read that, if you run with somebody and you're in sync together, you are found to run faster if you're running with somebody, for example. When we share experiences, we're much more likely to succeed, to ride bumps in the road together, support each other. And I think that's why your support group is so successful, because you're all in it together, aren't you? You're getting help from each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny how these things evolve, because I hadn't even thought about doing it. I mean, I sound like I'm a complete dafty now, but it's only because people said, I don't want to leave. I've really enjoyed these last 6 weeks, but I need to feel accountable to someone. And I've really enjoyed the group environment, and the fact that I facilitate these groups, and we always have a bit of a laugh, but we always have a bit of a plan at the end of it, and we are moving things forward. I had a group yesterday, Dawn, and they're on their last session, so they've been with me for 5 weeks, so this was their sixth session. There was 9 of them in the group, and out of the 9 of them, they had lost 6 stone between them.
You're joking. In 6 weeks?
in 5 weeks, because they're now entering their 6th week.
That's incredible. Oh my God. And with bearing in mind what you've just said about COVID, that is a phenomenal success. They must feel so,
oh my goodness,
so proud. So proud.
Oh, I feel so proud of them as well. And what is amazing is that they all come in to want to lose weight. But I always say, listen, I've got you here under completely false pretenses, because actually what I'm going to do, you're not only going to lose weight, you're going to start feeling amazing. And they go, oh, I'm sleeping better. I've decided I don't really need all that alcohol. All my joints feel better. My hair's better. Someone said I look 10 years younger. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, she's got the Zoom filter on. But I think the thing is, once you start eating properly, once you start losing weight, you start feeling better, because you're not carrying excess. That's a pressure, a stress on your joints. It's a stress on your heart. It's a stress on your lungs. And it's also to do with self-esteem and how you feel. And it just makes people feel better. And actually, it's something we don't have much control at the moment with COVID. And one thing you do have control over is what you eat. And I think it's given people some control and something to work towards for them and to make them feel better. And I always say, listen, we don't count calories, we don't count carbs. We really focus on getting a really good relationship with food, because I'm just quite amazed by people's relationships with food, and from an early age as well. And it's something that I have to be very careful with my boys not to mention. We just eat. We don't talk about it. We don't. It's not. Oh, you're having all this potato. None of that. We just eat. And try to not make it into an issue, because then it becomes an issue. So but as a nutritional therapist, I'm very very aware that I kind of can sometimes start talking about nutrition. I think, oh, zip up, stop it.
It's hard, isn't it? It's really hard.
It is hard.
It's the same when I start coaching them at the table. And, Mum,
they
don't
want to
coach
hear
me.
it, do they?
No, it's funny. They will one day, one day in years to come, hopefully. So I think that has been incredibly useful and so inspiring. You are absolutely right. I do believe there have been 3 things that have jumped out for me that resonated. I loved your, if you find your why. I do believe, I may have said this in a previous episode, I'm not sure, but I do believe if we find our why on anything, then the how just slots into place. We've just got to find our why and work with it. So there's that. I absolutely agree with you there. And we are what we eat. I think you're absolutely right. When I'm feeling rubbish, I eat rubbish and I make myself feel worse. When I pull my socks up and think, right, come on, sort yourself out, and I start eating better, I've got far more energy on my run when I go out with the dogs and run. When I have a good run, I feel good, I feel motivated. Then I want another run, and you're on an upward spiral. You're definitely on an upward spiral. And, as soon as you feel in control of anything, you feel better about it. And we have got to get, we've got to control what is controllable at the moment. And this is one thing that is not only controllable and that will make us feel better, it will help our immunity, which may well mean we may or may not get COVID. But if we do, then hopefully we will be a lot better able to fight it and come out much better at the a much better experience and be fine, all of us. So I think this has been so useful for people to hear, and I'm so grateful for you coming on here, Kaye. I think it's been really, really helpful.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure, Dawn. It was a long time in the making. We've tried many times to make this happen. So
unbelievable amount of times. This time last week, just for the benefit of listeners, we were trying to record it, weren't we? And we were trying to do it on the phone. Bad mistake around where we live. There's no signal. You and I were moving our cars to different spots to get better signal. Then we got halfway through and you dropped out. You lost signal, or I did, one of us. Oh, it was just terrible. So I thank you so much for your patience of sticking with me and letting us. We got there in the end. So I hope it's been helpful to everybody who's been listening. I've thoroughly enjoyed it and found it useful. And I'm going to go and have a chat with my son right now. So again, say one more time where anybody can drop you an email if they want to. Is there an email?
Oh, thank you. Yes, it's info@osborne-nutrition.co.uk. Or just send me a message on Facebook. I tend to use Facebook as my sort of main social media. I don't have time for everything else, but I do plan to start using LinkedIn and Instagram at some point as well. But Facebook, and I'm not the greased up man with the G-string on.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Kaye, and good luck in your business. I don't think you need luck, but all the best with it.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Dawn, and thank you for inviting me on, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, and good luck to all the listeners. I hope it's been helpful, and I hope you all have a cracking week ahead. And I'll speak to you all on next week's episode of Life Coaching on the Move.